and welcome back. I'm so excited to be celebrating 50,000 subscribers today. I don't know how to put into words what this experience has been for me and how grateful I am for all of the kindness and encouragement and support. Your support allows me to do something that I'm passionate about and also contribute to my family. It's so much more than vanity metrics for me. It's so much more than a number. There have been so many touching moments. I do not want to cry. When my mom was still here, she was the biggest supporter, and she would literally, because we'd go garage sailing together, she would tell everyone about my channel, like embarrassing as can be. And I had like 200 subscribers at the time, like the tiniest little channel. And she, like I said, she would totally embarrass me and tell everybody about it. And it was so sweet. And the channel grew so fast after my mom passed. And I think partially it's because I threw myself so deeply into this thing that her and I loved, and I became obsessed with going to garage sales and sharing my finds because I felt closer to her doing that. And I also feel like when she left this energy around me that she wanted the world in some way to see a little piece of what she saw in me and to believe in me and encourage me. But there's been so much of this experience where people have reached out specifically about sharing grief who have also lost a loved one or a mom specifically. And that has been one of the most touching things about having this channel. And it's obviously something I never expected because I never expected to lose my mom. But the fact that my little videos could somehow make an impact on your life in a positive way, that it's either present in a memory that you have with a loved one who's passed or helped you to feel less alone or whatever it is, it means the absolute world to me. And I don't have enough words to express how grateful I am. So my camera died through my emotional moment, which was probably a good thing. It gave me a moment to collect myself. And I just hope that you know how much your support means. It really means a lot. And I wish that I could give so much more, but I have a hand-picked box of treasures that I have been picking up at antique stores and things over the past like month or so. And I just want it to feel like you have a little piece of whatever feeling it is that you get from my channel. One of you can have it for your very own. So we're going to talk more about that later, but let's get into the questions. So I asked here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. So I've got quite a few questions. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can, or like the most commonly asked ones. So where do you get your inspiration from was probably one of the most common questions that I got. A lot of times movies are a really great place to draw some inspiration from. So any movies or TV shows that are kind of set back in time, I love to look at the historic homes and kind of how they have items displayed and the types of items that they would display. So that's a really big one. I have had a lot of people notice that I am also really inspired by Tim Burton, and I just love a kind of darker, like just a hint of creepy fantasy feel in my decor. Something about it just really speaks to me, as well as like Victorian style decor. So I like a dark Victorian vibe. And so really, like, anytime I see a setting like that, I'm kind of observing like what, taking in all of the things that I'm seeing and how I can apply similar things, or like, oh, I kind of want to have a little furniture piece displayed this way. I'm going to keep my eyes out for one. I do also love following other home accounts on Instagram. And Pinterest is a great place to gather ideas. For me personally, I feel like through the development of my own personal style, I don't ever want to replicate anything. I very much want to be inspired and then create my own version of things. So specifically like my Alice in Wonderland bookshelf up upstairs. I had comments that were like, I don't really get Alice in Wonderland from this. And the thing is that I don't want my decor to ever speak true of someone else's work. I want it to be my interpretation, if that makes sense. And this one was, do you have any training in the decorative arts or are you just gifted? Which is very kind of you, so thank you so much. I do not have any formal training. I quite literally, I have said this before in previous videos, I am learning just like in front of you. I feel like my natural knack that I have is more for curating items. I feel like finding vintage items, or like I have an eye for things, but I don't feel like decorating comes as naturally to me. Like it's something I've really had to develop over time, and the only way you can really do that is just by doing it. So you are seeing me learning as I go. This person also wanted to know, they said they don't think that they've ever heard me mention my career before doing this. And I have talked about it, but it's been a while. It's kind of just like been here and there. So prior to doing YouTube, I was a spa director. So I went to cosmetology school, got my cosmetology license. And while I was in school, I worked at a spa as a receptionist. Shortly after I graduated from school and got my license, I was given the opportunity to take over the spa director position. And I had done management before. Also, one of the things that I loved about being up there and working kind of in the boutique area, because it was a boutique spa, we sold makeup and also did makeup applications. So I worked as the spa director and a makeup artist at a spa, and I was with them for about 8 years. Local spa, has a very special place in my heart. And then I became a mommy. When I became a mommy, I didn't want to leave my baby. So we were fortunate enough that the cards all fell in the right place and I was able to stay home with Jameson. So through that, I needed kind of a creative outlet. I started actually making signs. Like, I don't know if I have pictures, I'll put up signs, but like Halloween signs. And I was selling them, and I'd kind of talk on my Instagram about the signs and like what I was doing, which really, I don't know, like translated to me creating content in some way. And also we moved into this house in 2020, which was around the same time. And I started sharing like our renovations and room makeovers and all that. And this kind of just blossomed. I don't think, like, if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be doing any of this, I think I'd probably be like, you're crazy, because I am very much, I'm introverted, and I'm not like a huge, like, want to be in the spotlight kind of person. And so it takes an extra like effort from me to be able to like put myself out in front of others for them to say whatever they want to say to and about. But there's been a lot of growth in me doing this. And that kind of leads into the next question, which was, how did you get started doing YouTube videos, and what would you recommend to somebody just starting? So yeah, we naturally ended up getting into doing the YouTube videos after we moved into this house, like I said, and I started kind of sharing stuff. And I really wanted to document the room makeovers. So that's where it all kind of began. YouTube, I could talk about it for a very long time, because really there's so much that goes into it. Making videos is a lot of work. And so for it to be sustainable, you really want to care about whatever topic it is that you're going to speak on, and just start making videos. Like, it's super awkward at first. It's still awkward sometimes when I'm making videos. Like, I'm like 3 years into this thing, and I'm not sure if it will ever be less weird. Talking to a camera is just not the most natural thing to do. So the only way to get better at it is just to keep doing it. Sit down and record yourself talking on camera. The beauty of doing something like this is you don't have to post what you don't want to post. Like, you are in complete control of what it is that you're going to put out for the world to see. I think it's okay to study what other people are doing and how people format their videos, because that's one of the things that is important and can be difficult, is learning how to tell a story or format your video to where it flows properly and makes sense. So yeah, I would say make sure you're doing something you're passionate about. Focus a little bit on the format of the video, how you want to tell the story, and what you're putting out needs to be somewhat useful for other people in order to want to consume. So that could be you're teaching them how to do something, you're inspiring them, something like that. Just get started, because the only way is really just to kind of get through the learning of it and continuing to get better. Paint, trim, same as wall, do or don't. So I am all about the color drenching. I had a couple of questions about this. While I tend to not follow design trends a ton, I do think like sometimes it's really fun to follow a trend, and color drenching is definitely like has been the trend with paint for the last few years. And I think it's a really fun one, and it's an easy one if you change your mind in like a few years to just paint over it. If you are capable of painting, you know, on your own, I know like that definitely gets harder as you get older, and if you have to hire somebody to switch it up, it might not be a trend that you want to participate in. But like I said in my previous video, I was talking about how we're going to do the bedroom makeover and how I want to color drench it. I feel like it just immerses you into whatever the mood is that color gives you. So yeah, I'm all for color drenching. I say go for it. I really want a gallery wall, but I'm having trouble committing to a space and layout. Do you have any advice? So when it comes to like determining where to put a gallery wall, any time you have like a bigger wall, bigger space to fill, gallery walls are great for that because you can expand them. And it's also something you can work on over time. So if you don't have it all down at once, then you can kind of add to it over time. My advice for getting started on a gallery wall, once you've decided on a space, is to start thrifting frames. So just hit the thrift stores or the antique stores and pick up frames. I actually have a couple of videos. I've got one on specifically doing a gallery wall, and then I have one, when I did the mirror wall, I have kind of a technique in that one that I didn't do in the previous one. But yeah, so I would start with that, looking for frames and also art. So if you're going to estate sales and things, that's a great place to look for paintings. Like I have found some original paintings and things at estate sales and garage sales. You know, I love, like we have an Etsy shop with vintage art on there. There are lots of Etsy shops that sell art. So you can go on there and find different pieces that resonate with you and have those printed. I think that's a really inexpensive way to do a gallery wall. Take your time with it, collect it over time. But yeah, like I said, I have 2 videos, so I will put the 2 videos down below. Hopefully that's helpful. I love gallery walls, and I think like they're so easy to modify. You do have to be like willing to put holes in your wall and things, but honestly, you can always fill holes and repaint. Like it's, you know, don't let hanging things scare you away from creating something in your house that you love. How long has thrifting antique items been your hobby, and do you work full time? I am a stay-at-home mom still. Jameson is in school a few days a week, but they're only half days. So he really only goes for like a few hours, a few days a week. And then I do this. So I mostly work on this when he's at school and on the weekends. So all of that keeps me pretty busy. I don't have a 9-to-5 job, but creating content has become something that I'm able to run as a business. So that has been honestly a dream come true. So how long have you been thrifting antique items? I remember going to antique stores and doing a little bit of thrifting when I was in high school, towards the end of high school, probably senior year. Not a ton, but there was an antique store that we don't have anymore called A Legacy, and it was like my favorite place to go. It was 2 stories, it was downtown. It was just such a cool antique shop. I'm so sad that my older self, who is very immersed in this world now, doesn't get to visit that antique shop because it was killer. It was like one of my favorite places back then. I would say in my 20s though, once I owned a home, we bought our first home in 2014. So once I like was decorating a home is really when I started antiquing. And I would go to the vintage markets and garage sailing. I used to go garage sailing on my lunch breaks when I worked at the spa a lot. So like if it were Thursday, I would grab like a sandwich at Jimmy John's or whatever, and then I would just drive around and look for garage sales, and I would pop over to different garage sales and things and find stuff. So I just want to say I'd love to see more toddler room makeovers or decor and toy storage ideas, which I actually have thought about doing a series on. I was thinking mostly on Instagram stories, but it's something I could do a video here if there was enough interest. I think designing kids spaces is like the most fun rooms to put together. Jameson's room is so much fun. Like, I had so much fun doing that. And I have done his room 3 times. He's 4 years old and he's had 3 different versions of, you know, his room. So I really love doing that. So what I was thinking is, if you guys wanted to send in different themes, I could then do a mood board around those themes, just like in my style, like how I would approach that design themes. I talked about this a while back, like before knowing if I was having a boy or a girl. If I had a girl, I really wanted to do an Alice in Wonderland nursery, and I've never actually like put together a mood board, but I would love to do that. So that's something that I might do, and then share with you guys either here or on Instagram. And then toy storage ideas. So yeah, baskets. To be honest with you guys, I'm not the best at organization. Like, that is not my strong suit, never has been. I actually had somebody else asked, yeah, how do you store everything? And to be honest with you, I have a doom room where items go to collect dust until I need them, which is terrible, and it's not organized in any way. I mean, they're in boxes and things. We also have an attic, so that's really helpful for storing like all of our seasonal items. I do separate our seasonal items into tubs and put them upstairs, but a lot of times my like vintage stuff, I just got like random boxes upstairs in our guest room that are just like filled with things. Because I feel like with thrifting, you have to kind of like pick up the things that you like when you see them, because you probably won't come across them again. And so I will collect things even if I don't have like a spot for it at the time, but that does create like, you know, you have to have somewhere to put them until you need them. And so, yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not the person to ask at all about organization, because that's not a strong suit of mine. That's like just the honest truth. Sorry, I can't be more help on that. But toy storage, I just do baskets. Is your current house your forever home? When we moved into this house, I would say we were not expecting it to be our forever home. This is a great house. We have plenty of space. If we like stay here forever, we would be totally fine. We've got plenty of space. We have 4 beds, and we have 1 full bath, but 2 half baths. And one of the things that I absolutely love about something that sold me on our house was that our bedroom actually has a little tiny ensuite. I know you probably can't call it an ensuite if there's no bath or shower, but it's like just a little half bath with a vanity and like plenty of storage. And that totally sold me, because old houses, it's so rare to find a master bedroom that has that. So I'm getting off on a tangent here, but there are things that I really love about this home. And when we looked at homes for as long as we did, which was a while, there were things that this house just had that no other house had. And so I would say, like, with the current interest rates and the prices of houses now, because the market has changed so much since we bought this house, quite possible it could be our forever home. But I don't know. We do have a pool here, which is not something that was like on our list of like must-haves, but it was a really nice benefit. Luke definitely took on a big undertaking with that, but we do have a pool, which is a really nice thing to have, and like something that has been great for entertaining and also just like for Jameson. So, you know, we've got a lot of great things. One thing that I will say I really wish we had is a front porch. Like, we have a very small front porch. I would love to have a bigger front porch. So my dream is always to own a historic home of some sort, Victorian, or honestly, Luke and I both really love colonials. So yeah, I would love, love, love to own a historic home someday. But I mean, if that never happens, we are totally fine here. So I don't know. I feel like as we get older, we like crave having land and more space. More so than we ever used to. So yeah, I mean, never say never, or never say forever, I guess. Favorite movies was another one. I think about nostalgic movies a lot when I think about my favorite movies. So I think about The Labyrinth. I grew up in the 90s, so, you know, The Labyrinth, and Death Becomes Her is like one of my all-time favorites. But I also love psychological thrillers. So like Gone Girl, I really liked that one. And Girl on the Train, I read that book and then watched that movie. Like, I was really excited when that movie came out. So yeah, I feel like there's like, I could name off a million movies that I really love. But I always think of like the nostalgic ones. So I don't know, Labyrinth and Death Becomes Her are two of my favorites. What advice would you give someone that is trying to quit their aesthetic or style and start with your style of decor? I would say it takes time. I feel like curated and collected is a big part of this aesthetic. So that's one of the reasons I like to share thrift hauls. It kind of shows like what kind of items I look out for when I'm thrifting, and hopefully that's helpful when you're looking for items to create a similar look. If it really resonates with you and you feel like this is your style, then yeah, definitely just starting to go antiquing and thrifting and curating items that, you know, you're seeing that are similar. What ways can a person incorporate your style on a budget? Well, thrifting and antiquing. Now, I know that our antique stores are really like reasonably priced compared to a lot of places. So I know that that's not always feasible for everyone to go to antique stores and find things, but secondhand shopping just in general, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to also look. Go on Facebook Marketplace and start looking through and finding things that feel like that same style that you're wanting to create, and save those items, regardless of whether you're wanting to actually buy that piece. Like maybe it's a furniture piece that you love. Like I love Eastlake furniture. It's very ornate, usually in like really dark wood tones, really beautiful. I know that I love those pieces. And so even if it's a furniture piece that's not going to fit in my house, I save the item, and that way it lets Facebook know that I like items like that, and it's going to continue to show me items like that. And then once you've kind of trained your algorithm to, you know, show you pieces in this style that you're interested in, then it'll be a little bit easier to look through listings and find pieces that you actually need for your house. And yeah, I mean, just slowly collecting over time. I know I had someone else ask about, they had a darker, or they had a lighter aesthetic before, and they're wanting to transition over to more of a moody style. And I mean, I think my style can be a really great testament to, you can still have mood without painting all of your walls dark if you don't want to. Just curating darker items and darker vintage art pieces like what we have in our Etsy shop are a great way to also kind of include that moody feel. Drapes and rugs, getting moody colors in that if you don't want to go through and paint your walls. So I have unfortunately run out of time to answer any more questions in the question portion of the video. I am now on mom duty. I will try to answer more questions over on Instagram in stories. So you can go follow me over there to see anything that I didn't get to. I'll try to put over there. But stay tuned, because we're gonna finish this video off with some info about the giveaway and how you can enter to win. And now for the giveaway, I want to quickly share with you each of the items that will be in the box of treasures so you can decide if you want to enter to win. So the first item is one of the prints from our Etsy shop, The Lost Gallery, but we actually have a physical copy here, and it's printed on a foam board, so it's nice and thick and ready to be framed. The next item is a candy dish. You know I love the Wexford design. I had to have something from the collection for this box, or it just wouldn't feel like my channel in a box. And I also included a small amber medicine bottle, because if you've been watching for a while, you know I love dirty old bottles. I also included this Antique Candle Co. travel candle. So this one is in Cozy Cabin. It's a wonderful scent, 100% soy and non-toxic. I also found this beautiful little box. It'd be great for trinkets or really just displayed. It's very beautiful. And inside of this box, I have another little treasure for you. That is our vintage book page star garland. So you can see I have one displayed on the back, but yours will actually be packaged up in this little box and ready to be unfolded. I'm also including a candle that is made here locally in Wichita, Kansas, and this candle smells so good. Plus, note the name, Tim Burton reference, had to have that in here as well. And then this teacup I thought was so cute with the silhouettes on it. It's got two different silhouettes on each side, plus one on the lid. And it was just too cute to pass up. I thought this would be just a lovely little addition here. And this one's kind of a funny find. I think it's really beautiful. It's actually a vintage ashtray, but it's obviously been cleaned up. It doesn't smell weird or anything. And I thought it would be a really great little like ring dish or a soap dish or something like that. So I had to include that in there. It's really pretty. And then I found another one of these star punch out candle holders. This one's actually got a little stem on it, but I had to include it so we're twins. And of course some brass candlesticks because they're a staple. And this next find I think is one of my favorites in the box, this beautiful little ornate frame that I found at the antique shop. It's got this black velvet backing in it, so I actually love the black. I think I would just keep it like this and hang it in a gallery wall. I think it'd be a really pretty addition. You could also put a brooch inside or, you know, put a small print in there as well. I'm hoping that I find another one of these. I'm slightly jealous of whoever gets this one. The next item is this beautiful metal box. I love the hardware on it, the shape of it, and the patina. It is perfection. Perfect place to tuck away little treasures. And I have a couple of battery-operated fairy lights that will be included as well, because I feel like when you think of my channel, you must think of fairy lights. I found this framed print at the antique store with the plums. I thought this was so sweet. It would be great in a kitchen, and the frame is wooden, so it's a nice little piece. I'm also including another 8x10 from our Etsy shop. This is our Gothic arch print, which is one of my absolute favorites. You will also receive this sewing drawer that you can kind of see in this shot here. I forgot to get a close-up of that one, but that's also going to be included in the box. Now, to enter the giveaway, you must be subscribed to the channel and leave a comment that says Box of Treasures, followed by your favorite video on the channel. Now, I really wanted to do a giveaway on YouTube, but the scammers do come out when you do giveaways on YouTube. So do not give your information to anyone. If I am replying to a comment, it will show my handle at @KristaMeeker in a gray bubble. So be very, very careful. If anyone else is trying to get information from you, you will have 1 week to enter the giveaway. So I will be reaching out to the winner on Sunday the 25th. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, truly. I appreciate your love and support more than you know, and I'll see you next time.